in London are increasingly being sold off and converted into flats. Last year saw a 10-year high in the number of applications for such developments. Often these conversions are met with fierce opposition. With fewer people going to the pub and the capital in a housing crisis, should Londoners welcome the chance to build more homes? Here's Jean Mackenzie.
The Carlton Tavern in Maida Vale, torn down in April without permission, days before it was due to be listed. Then the Alchemist in Wandsworth, bulldozed while no one was watching, again without permission. Both owners wanted to turn their pubs into flats.
The front was rather distinctive, in line with all of the other buildings, which has now been reduced down to virtually ground level, and it's a very sad sight.
This council fears more pubs could be at risk.
You look at all the buildings along here, they're rather special. If we start losing them because people just feel they're going to demolish them, then where does that end? It leaves us in a very odd position where people could demolish buildings with impunity.
Both the owners of the Alchemist and the Carlton Tavern here have been ordered to rebuild their pubs exactly as they were before. But there are fears that more could be demolished in this way. There's a lot of money to be made from converting pubs into flats, and it's becoming increasingly popular. Research for BBC London shows that last year there were 86 applications to convert pubs into flats in the capital, the highest number for a decade. But it appears councils are getting tougher. 16% of these were refused planning permission, compared to just 4% the year before.
Councils are thinking a bit more carefully about the applications when they come in now. We've seen quite a lot of community backlash. It's been quite fierce. And so now, rather than this being a really easy way for them to boost their housing numbers, they're having to think quite carefully about it.
This is now a common sight, though. It's thought up to 10 pubs are closing a week in London and the South East.
It's very small, as you can see. It needs an incredible amount of work, and no one who was interested in it had the money to convert it. So the only interest that we had was from developers.
And with homes in short supply, developers are struggling to understand the opposition.
If there are economic and social pressures as to why that public house is no longer viable, I think we have to be realistic and look at it and say it's the best thing for the local community and also for the owner of that pub.
But how do pub goers feel?
The reality is that we're running out of housing, then we have to look at everything, whether it's barber shops, run-down houses, old hospitals are empty. Why not?
Pub disappears, the community disappears. You get people moving in, it's completely residential.
There's a lot of other places to build houses. You don't need to convert pubs.
And that's the dilemma councils now face. Replace pubs with property or preserve this social tradition. Jean Mackenzie, BBC London News.